What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish. We're back at it again with the next critical thinking video. For all those that are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Before the Educate and Dominate series, the critical thinking series was my theory crafting videos that I put out once a week in an effort to improve your guys' game based on my thoughts and my personal experiences. I have a little bit of a change this week since we had the interview with Kamto's video. There's no Educate and Dominate video, so I'm going to be putting out a critical thinking video for you today. This one's going to be on that advanced topic of rifting and how can you improve your speed runs, right? So let's go ahead and make that clear. As I state, we're talking about speed runs, not the overall runs of the match. Just like any other type of Dragons run, Giants run, Necro run. As you guys know, the focus is to get yourself to that 100% clear. And then when you get to that level, see what you can do to improve the speed of your runs by bringing in a wide variety of units that synergize well in an effort to quick and clear. So the focus of that, of what's going to be the concept of this video is going to be branding, right? And so what is branding? Branding is the ability to put on an effect that allows you to improve the damage that you do to the opponent or boss or whatever by 25%. So it's 25% damage across the board. And so what does that mean for you guys? That means quicker clear. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. So of course, let's go ahead and start with the actual, boss and just talking about the rifting as well, because this is something that gets kind of lost in the woods when we're talking about various concepts. Strategy info, right? Anybody can come in here and look at what the raid boss brings to the table. This is going to be very adamant when they bring on new bosses, so make sure you're focused on this, right? All these are really, really important, but the one we're going to be focusing on is Rage for War. And Rage for War basically states that once you hit it 16 times, it's going to remove all beneficial effects and recovers HP. And in addition to that, it has the opportunity to stun all the enemies and permanently increase the attack power of the boss. So what does that mean? Every time it goes off, the boss's power is going to increase. So the longer the fight lasts, the higher the boss power's attack, right? Because at the end of the day, there's not going to be any change in overall runes that we're going to be bringing. We understand that although there's a wide variety of combinations of runes, generally speaking, we're going to be using a lot of combinations that are going to be involving violent sets. And when you bring in violent sets, you're going to have a lot of additional turns, and you're going to be, triggering this right away. So how could we balance out? I say that very, very softly. How could we kind of balance it out a little bit in an effort to improve it with respect to the violent and whatnot? We go ahead and bring out branding. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be focused on. We're going to be doing a little unit showcase as far as some of the units that are available out there. And I'm going to be mainly focusing on my top picks for each element, water, wind, and fire. I won't be focusing on light and dark today, but I will put some honorable mentions in there within the the first three elements, because I feel that they're the ones that most people are going to be, going to be focused on. So let's take a look here. So we got a couple of units within the realm of branding units. First off, we got ourselves the Fire Assassin. The Fire Assassin. Let's see if we can find it. It's hiding. It's hiding. Okay, we got Lexi. Okay, Lexi. What is she bringing to the table? She's bringing a defense break. She's bringing the branding that we're talking about. And then she's bringing a passive that unfortunately takes away our motivation to use this in a rifting world. So even though the branding is there and it is nice, this unit particularly reduces the damage that monsters receive. However, it also reduces the recovery amount on the battlefield by 50%. So this is not something you want to use on the PvE side. This would be something that you're bringing probably some kind of a YOLO setup with respect to PvP. That being said, we're mentioning it because it is a branding unit, so I want to make your attention to it. Now, take a look at this skill. Attacks the enemy 2 times, and each chance has a 50% chance to leave a brand, okay? So even though it's a 50% chance on 2 times, that is nice, but it is still not 100% reliable. In addition to just trying to get through the skill check, there's still an accuracy resistance check that's going to be had at the end of that. It's going to go through that, so you might not, that still might not be landing, all the time, but at least it has the opportunity 2 times for 50%. So it is nice to have that opportunity for that particular unit. Okay. Now, the other unit, and basically my top pick for this particular element, is going to be Shiwa. Okay. The Fire Nine-Tailed Fox. Now, why do I want to, I mentioned this to you for a couple of different things. Let's take a look at the skill set. When it comes to rifting, okay, we got the ability to hit 3 times, which is obviously not good for the triggers of the Rage for War, but the recent change of the AI of Shiwa allows you to basically take away the ability to be using this enchant skill. Okay, the enchant skill is not going to be used on bosses or whatnots that are immune to this particular effect. So what does that mean is this particular unit is going to be cycling through the first skill and the third skill. So take note on the third skill, it's going to be hitting 5 times, which again, it's going to be increasing that Rage for War. However, there is no percentage of landing the branding effect. It states at the end of the 50%, the 5 times recovers 50% of the damage. It leaves a branding effect, okay? So that's a 100% chance to do it, okay? And then, of course, it's going to go through the accuracy resistance check. So, obviously, the more accuracy you have, the better you're off. But it is nice because this particular skill does have a healing ability, right? So it's going to help you in the rifting, staying alive or whatnot. In addition to that, it has a little bit more reliable branding effect, and it's going to be going through both the first skill and the third skill with a 3-turn cooldown on the branding effect. So that is pretty darn nice. Last but not least, we cannot forget to mention that this is a high used necropolis unit. So chances are you might be able to get, kill 2 birds with 1 stone by using this unit on both aspects of the game. So yeah, shout out to all my Shiwa users. One time, you know what it is. All right. Let's move on to the water ones. The water ones, we got a couple here. So I want to say it's the Anubis. The Anubis here. This is going to be a nice unit indeed as far as the wind one and the water one. This is similar to the assassin, but this one hits 3 times versus 2 times, giving you a higher percent chance of it landing for 2 turns. Again, due to the skill set, it is a hit point disturb. It has the branding effect, but the passive is kind of irrelevant when it comes to PvE. So I'm not a big fan of this, but I want to mention it to it because if you are looking to improve your speed runs and trying to bring some unit that has a branding effect, and maybe you already have this skilled for a different type of run or different type of PvE or PvP run, I want to go ahead and mention it to you today. All right, next one up for this particular realm of units is going to be the Water Barbaric King. The Water Barbaric King Aegir is going to be bringing a regular attack here for continuous damage. Kind of irrelevant when it comes to rifting. But of course, as you guys know, leaving the second attack, bringing the branding effect for 2 turns. Take note, it is not a 50% trigger. This is a 100% trigger. And then it's going to, of course, go through the accuracy resistance check. So it's a little bit more reliable than the Assassins and the Anubises. In addition to that, take note, you got yourself the increasing of the attack bar by 2 turns. And then the third skill, while the skill itself is not truly irrelevant to the boss at hand, the attack speed increases. Your attack speed personally increases when this is on cooldown. So when this is on cooldown, that's going to give you more, a reduced amount of time to get this skill up. The second attack. So I really do like the Water Barbaric King if you are looking to play around with that. Now, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm going to put it out there. As you guys know, I recently did a summoning session and pulled the Stella, and so I'm going to state my top pick. Again, this is not a top 10 video, whatever this and that. This is my personal opinion. I'm not going to call this no top 10 video, right? My personal pick is Stella, and so I'm going to tell you why I value it a little bit more, okay? When we're looking at bringing a combination of units to the table, we're looking at the units that are going to provide the most bang for our buck with regards to all aspects of the game, right? And so you're looking for the best kits out there, right? We understand that the Water Barbaric King brings the branding effect. It's a little bit more reliable, but the other 2 skills, the 1 and 3, are not too reliable when it comes to, or not too useful when it comes to the boss at hand. Again, the attack bar manipulation is really good, so I can kind of sheer away from that. But I'm talking about like skills in general, right? So let's talk about what we got here with Stella. Stella has a defense break, 50% chance to break the defense for turns. That can go up to, I believe, 70%, 75% when maxed. Then you got yourself the Death Verdict. Unfortunately, it is attacking the enemy twice, each chance for 50%. So it's not as reliable as the Barbaric King. But again, 2 times 50% chance, and it can go up to, I think, about 65, again, to 75% chance when it's maxed out. And then in addition to that, the cake on the icing, we don't really want it. We'll take it. It's not really the focus on this, but you have the ability to decrease the attack bar by 10%. Now, this can kind of go both ways because we were talking about Rage for Roar and the and the fact that each attack is going to increase the trigger and raise your counter up. Again, when you're looking at everything that it brings to the table, the branding, the defense break to me is just big. And then of course the attack bar manipulation. This can still come in handy. A great combination with WA if you're trying to look for something, if you're trying to look for a particular speed team that is going to provide a lot of attack bar manipulation, whether it's positive and negative. And so I particularly like this one. I think it can go half and half with the Water Barbaric King and this one, but I'm a little bit more a fan of this one overall. Now I got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Mav Nasty and Kai Sinai with Malicious. I had the opportunity to raid riff with them, and they were the ones that kind of brought the Stella to my attention. And I kid you not, a day afterwards I did the summoning session and pulled Stella, so I was super excited to level this one up. I will be skilling this one up and doing a unit showcase possibly later down the road if I don't fill out the void, in the end of the video today. So that is it that I wanted to talk about for the water-based ones. Now the wind-based ones, we're going to be starting off the day with the wind Anubis. This one I definitely like a little bit better than the water Anubis because it's going to be bringing a little bit more to the table when it comes to the kit. You got the hit point disturb like before, you got the branding effect like before, but you got the opportunity for death prevention. And if you come on board, you're going to have the attack speed and attack power increase for 2 turns. That being said, it is a passive and can be negated by the Oblivion effect, but again, it's still a better choice than the water one. When it comes to the rifting. So if you do have this one in the stores box and you're looking to improve your speed runs, whether it's R3, R4, R5, this can be a valuable unit. But that being said, my top pick for this particular element is going to be the Wind Barbaric King. So the Wind Barbaric King, like the water counterpart, got to have that first attack hitting the continuous damage, which is irrelevant because the boss can't land continuous damage. But you got your reliable branding effect and increasing the attack bar for 2 turns. And then last but not least, you have that ability again to improve your attack speed when this skill is on cooldown. And of course, you have the ability to have a 100% critical chance on this hit, but that's not really the main part about this. The cool thing about this one is that you have the ability to get the attack speed increase, the attack bar increase, and a more reliable branding effect. So again, the Wind Barbaric King, the Fire Ninetail Fox, and the Water Assassin are my top picks. Shoot me a message down below. Which ones are your top picks when it comes to all 5 elements? I'm looking forward to hearing on that. So all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about runes and rune builds or whatnot. It really all depends, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, right, on the unit that you're bringing, and basically what you have available with regards to your runes. Now, we understand that Violent is going to be the optimal set, primary set when it comes to this particular thing. Why? Because it's going to be reducing the cooldowns of the unit. And you have the opportunity to proc out of a stun. And we know that the boss with the Rageful Roar will be stunning you guys a lot. So having a high amount of resistance is nice, but it's not going to be enough. At the end of the day, having the opportunity, the small opportunity to proc out of it is always a nice thing for the Violet. Now, with regards to subsets, my 3 main subsets that I like with respect to all the branding units are going to be Nemesis, are going to be Focus, and are going to be Revenge. And when it comes down to either Nemesis or Revenge, it's going to depend on which units you're using. It depends on basically, like, let's take a look for Stella, for example. Okay, now I'm using Violent Focus. But you could make an argument for using Violent Revenge. Why? Because Violent Revenge is going to be able to counterattack that first skill and give you an additional opportunity to proc that defense break. Now, for the Barbaric King and the Fire Ninetail Fox Shiwa, you might make a reason for Violent Nemesis because you have, the first skill is pretty irrelevant. Unfortunately, if you're using Shiwa for Necropolis, you're probably going to be already on a Violent Revenge set. The multi-hitting triggers on the Shiwa is not really good for the rifting, but again, you're trying to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone with Shiwa, so that's why it's my top pick as far as one of the good units to bring on board. That is assuming, all that being said, those subsets are assuming that you can get yourself the accuracy that you need, okay? Some of these units that I was talking about, the Anubis, the Assassin, they don't have a reliable branding effect, right? It's a percentage chance. It's a percentage chance that's not 100%. So accuracy, in addition to having, just the chance that it's just not going to land, you still have to, go through the accuracy resistance check. So you're definitely going to be more focused on making sure that you get that accuracy that you need to get the job done. Now, combinations, I'm particularly using speed, attack, and hit point. The reason why I'm using attack, obviously, I got the hit point subsets that I want. I'm trying to keep my hit points above 20k, 21k, and then, with regards to the accuracy runes or the focus runes, I'm trying to get the accuracy as high as possible. Obviously, I would opt for the Violent Revenge set if I could, but I don't have the accuracy that I want, and even my crit rate drops a little bit lower. So I got to make sure that my accuracy, my hit points, I'm making it as speedy as possible, as fast as possible, and with as much accuracy as I can. Now, crit rate, I do feel that there's a fine line between having a high amount of crit rate and landing debuffs. It seems like the higher the crit rate, the higher the chance of landing those debuffs. But at the end of the day, my focus is on speed, hit points, and accuracy on this particular unit. You can make an argument for both, but in this particular setup, that's what I'm going to go for. The Wind Barbaric Kings, the Anubises, and whatnot, those ones I'm gonna say, the Violent Nemesis. I like the Nemesis on that one. If you have enough accuracy, obviously you have to work with that Violent Focus. But if you have the accuracy, then I say Violent Nemesis. Okay, why Violent Nemesis? Right, Nemesis is gonna give you the opportunity to improve your attack bar, and get yourself to full attack bar so that you can use your skills even more. And then, of course, the more times you go, the more times you have the opportunity to proc that violent skill and reduce it even more. Okay, so regardless of everything that I said now, let's make one thing perfectly clear. And I know that Scat Fetus and I have mentioned this in my video. Shout out to Scat Fetus one time. Okay, one time. Here we go. None of the units that you use, regardless of whatever aspect you're using in the game, whether we're talking about TOA, rifting, whatever, you're not going to be able to see the unit shine until you have a max skill. So I'm taking advantage of bringing Jameer on my team. So I have the opportunity to reset the skill cooldowns to get a couple more turns on this one, but you're not gonna get the most bang for your buck until you skill up the units, right? Why is that? This turns into a 75% chance to land a defense break. This turns into a 75% chance to land the branding effect for 2 turns. A lot more reliable, as you can see right there. In addition to bringing down the cooldown to 3 turns. Okay, so that's huge, right? Now Shiwa, like we were talking before, Shiwa does not. You don't have to worry about bringing this one, maxing it out or whatnot, because again, the cooldown is already at 3 turns. It's not going to improve if you max it out. You can if you want to just improve the damage overall, but it's not going to be a big focus if you're trying to reduce the cooldowns and improve the skill, because the skill is a 100% chance to land after the 5 hits. I just love the kit overall again on this one. Having the opportunity to heal with this particular recovery skill, and the fact that it's going to go through one of the 3, it's going to be a great skill overall. So all that being said, Violent is the main one, and then a combination of either Nemesis, Revenge, or Focus, depending on what you need. Put more focus on the focus, right? Put more focus on getting the accuracy that you need if you're using a unit that doesn't have as reliable as a skill. In addition, don't frown upon skilling up this unit, because again, the more reliable it is, the more consistent clears you're going to have. And at the end of the day, it's not about how quickly you can clear the zone, but what you can do, what you can bring to the table in an effort to clear the zone overall quicker, right? Does that make sense? I think it does. All right. So again, guys, that is pretty much it for the branding units that I enjoy and why we should bring those on board to improve it. Really nothing to argue here. We're gonna have, I guess, the last thing to mention that I know that people will kind of come back at me with is, the 3 jumps. It's gonna remove all the harmful effects, and then you got to go back to it. You got to put it back on. So, is it an option? Is it really that important if it's constantly getting removed or whatnot? Again, like every other skill, things get removed on it and you got to put it back on. But if you make the effort to improve the skill ups, improve the accuracy, improve the reliability of the unit, then you shouldn't be too concerned about is it going to be available. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be landing. So just like any other debuff, you won't see a higher amount of it on, because you're only bringing 1 unit to the table that's bringing the branding effect versus tons of these units that everybody's bringing that's landing the attack break, defense break, hit point disturb. Those are going to be obviously on a little bit more, but on your end, if you're the one that's bringing that support unit that's going to provide the branding effect to improve the damage overall of the team, then yes, you got to do everything you can to make it more reliable at the end of the day. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. That's it for the how to improve the speed runs with regards to branding. Thank you all for tuning in. It's a pleasure to make these videos for you. As always, please be sure to smash that like button if you like this video down below, and I'll be making sure to bring out more critical thinking videos as the weeks progress. So thank you all for tuning in. It's your boy Childish, ChildishPlays, checking out. Take care, and we will see you next time, guys. We're out.